We've got Artia Zandian from Melbourne, originally from Iran. Massive thank you to Artie for his time because everyone's doing their own things and getting back on track. So we're very grateful to have his time and his perspective on what's going on in the world and everything sort of dance related that we'll talk.
Yeah.
Bro, how long have you been dancing for? Like start to finish, like start to now, no finish, but start to now.
I've been dancing all my life. I've been dancing all my life. I grew up in Iran dancing. My dad was a bit of a break dancer, so he used to do break dancing, and he taught me like the basics of hip hop and stuff like that. And then so I kind of just grew up in Iran because obviously there's very limited classes and stuff like that.
Mm.
Just quickly shout out to all my Persians. Salam ba hame bacho, Dustan, merci, dusatun daram. Um, yeah, so like I didn't have a lot of exposure of like, classes and stuff like that. So all of our, kind of point of reference was just standing in front of a mirror and practicing moves or watching like Western movies. I remember like when I was in Iran, Step Up just came out. And then like
Yeah.
I remember like between Step Up 1 and Step Up 2 is where my like dancing thing started. But I used to always kind of dance as a kid to music. I was always running around like playing
Mm.
around. And then I did a little bit of like popping and locking when I was a kid in front of the mirrors and stuff like that. But like officially classes, I didn't really do until I started salsa, like proper
Mm-hmm.
dance classes and stuff like that. That's when I did salsa, and I started salsa I think when I was like 17, 18. I mean I did it
Mm.
I would do it like once a week, a little bit earlier than that. I think I went to a few classes when I was 16, and then when I was 17 I
Mm-hmm.
went to a few classes. But like the whole like, dancing, going to class and the social dancing and all that sort of stuff, I started when I was 18, I think 18, 19.
Mm. That's arguably pretty young for like a teenage male to be starting like partner work classes. Like typically guys are
Yeah.
pushed into more like they do hip hop or they'll do ballet or like something like
Yeah.
where the parents have encouraged it. But like, is
Yeah.
that
My
sort of
parents.
the same as you?
No, my parents. My mom. I remember telling my mom when I was in high school, I was like, I want to go to ballet class. I want to do contemporary. Like, I want to learn dancing. And she'd be like, I don't support those environments. And she'd be like, yeah. And then she's like, I'm not. No son of mine goes to those. What was the word? She used to use this word, and it was like she used to be like, it's a unhealthy environment or something like that, right? So as a kid, I never really got to do those things. I wish I had the opportunity to do ballet and contemporary and be trained from when I was young. Actually, the way that I started dancing properly was I it was essentially when I moved out. When I moved out, I because I couldn't go to university straight away, so I had to take a year
Yeah.
off. And I did it. I took a year off and I did a year of volunteering. And then during that year of volunteering, at night times when everything would be over, I would just go dancing. And then
Hmm.
after that, I told my parents, I'm like, I'm going to Sydney to go to med school. And then I moved to Sydney and I danced. So yeah, that's how the dancing thing went about. But yeah, I always loved it. I always wanted to do it, but I couldn't. And salsa was the only thing that was offered like after hours. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why
of
I ended
course.
up doing salsa instead of doing anything else.
Because I imagine at that stage, bachata, Zouk hadn't made its way to Australia yet. Bachata was maybe only just becoming available at that stage in Australia.
I think no. I think when I started, Zouk just started. Bachata was there already. They were like, I don't know. You probably don't even know them. I don't know if you know Johan and Curry from
No.
Adelaide. They used to be bachata dancers from Adelaide, and they used to be
Yeah.
like So the bachata was definitely there, but Zouk was just starting actually, and I remember.
Mm.
Yeah, Zouk was new. I remember Sam and Sarantos used to teach in Adelaide, and Nikki and Sean. I don't know if you know
Before
Nikki.
my time, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the day.
Back in the day. And
Yeah. Feel old,
like
bruh.
one thing that's one thing that's been very commonly observed about you is your uniqueness. And one thing that I appreciate about you is that you've learned from a lot of different people. So how have you developed your own style in a sense? Because you've had so many different people that you've learned from. How have you separated from their styles to create what you're doing in a unique way?
I mean, it's hard, bro. It's hard. It's a really hard thing being unique. I definitely think I had a period where everyone used to tell me that I look like Oliver. I remember like you asked like Paola. You remember one time I finished performing and Paola pulled me off, this like literally grabbed me, took me into the running room, and she's like, and if she's I don't know if she'll ever watch this, but she's like, "Yo, Adi, I mean, I think you're okay or whatever, right? But why do you copy Oliver?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, I just like he's my teacher, and he's like, you need to have your own style. You need to be unique. You need to do your own thing." So I used to get criticized. My point of that story was I used to get criticized for looking like Oliver a lot, and I think that was my like I guess he was just my inspiration. He was my first teacher. I found what he did great. I used to watch hours and hours of his content, and I think when you do that, automatically you start not like unconsciously start copying feels and movements and stuff like that. So it's not that I've always kind of been unique. I've also struggled a lot trying to differentiate my style, but I think the ability to go to Europe, the ability to the internet and YouTube and everything like that, and as you said, the ability to learn from a lot of different instructors kind of helped me a little bit also appreciate different things in other people's dancing that I liked. So for example, I remember, I think they live in Europe now, but I remember back in the day, Jan and Becky were massive inspirations of mine. I really liked them, and they were the first people that I kind of followed into like the mambo style, because Oliver does mambo, but he's got his own like kind of like unique Latin jazz musicality kind of thing going on that's very unique and very Oliver, right? But like that like whole like Eddie Torres like real mambo style and Adolfo style was the first time I saw it was from Becky and Jan. And I think I really liked it. So then I started incorporating the turn patterns into my routine. I did a routine with Katrina where I did like, you know, all these turn patterns, and I tried to look a bit more mambo and also incorporate the musicality stuff that I learned from Oliver. So yeah, I think if you just follow the feels, I think if you follow the feels and what really you like, then that's going to make you unique, because no two people are going to like the exact same things. You know what I mean? Like, you're always going to look different if you just follow what you really like. You know what I mean?
It's not a bad transition into. I have a question for you. What would be your top 3 tips to becoming a better dancer?
Um, Top tips for becoming a better dancer. I recently read a book by Malcolm Gladwell, and it's called Outliers, and it talks about what contributes to growth or success or betterment and all that sort of stuff. And you know, he talks about how there's all these different elements of like, you know, luck, hard work, and you know, situational you know, benefits and all that sort of stuff. But I think what I think contributes to being a better dancer, first of all, practice. Second of all, love what you do. Like, follow what you like, follow what inspires you. Practice. What else makes you a better dancer? Practice, follow what you love. And I think surrounding yourself with good influences probably is the third one. Surrounding yourself with people who are influential and as hardworking as you, and as, you know, the influence of the environment is massive. Like, I recently did a video for LDA, and I think one of the things I was very fortunate about was being surrounded by a company that had like 20 professional dancers. And when you're in an environment like that, then it automatically contributes to your growth as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, hard work, follow what you love, and environment. Put yourself in an environment conducive to hard work, to what you're after.
There's a really good quote. It's if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's a really good representation as if you're the best dancer there, then it's going to be really hard for you to challenge yourself and grow. So that's why I think for me, the experience of going to Italy and training with Tropical Jam and with LSD was like, you have to step up, hey? Because there's like
Yeah.
another 30 people there that are, that are
Oh,
on your level or higher.
that was exactly what it was. I went to Milan, and then all of a sudden there were like little kids dancing better than me. I'm
Bro,
like, you need to. Man, I was in Greece, and there was a little girl who like was like 2 years old, and she's like doing the class that I was doing, and I was like, damn. So yeah, in that sense, man, in that sense, yes, if you really want to grow, put yourself in an environment where, you know, people around you, where you have to fight, where you have to compete.
yeah. Because ultimately it'll make or break you. I think like you'll really grow from it, absolutely, but don't let it discourage you too much because it can be pretty intimidating if there are like children out dancing you.
Yeah, it is. It's yeah, it's good. It's good. It puts things into perspective. Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's like in
And
a
then
few
you remember
years,
how long
bro.
you've been
In a
dancing
few
salsa
years,
for.
we're history, man. In a few years, that's all. That's all it's gonna take.
We better start this collaboration and get in while the iron's hot
I know. I know.
before we're forgotten.
And then reminisce on it. You remember those days? Yeah.
Yeah.
As dancers, we get to experience other people in a different way. Like, we get to have these bonds of friendships and closeness and these experiences that we get to have with people that it's hard to have anywhere else. You know what I mean?